My name's Andyford, MAYELE Banda, and I'm here to share with you a number of issues that are happening in this country, and really what actually motivated us, to join politics, and other things. Therefore, and you can call me on +260 764 250055. +260 764 250055. That's for your contributions or questions, but remember to reduce the volume on your TV set before calling. Like I mentioned, my name is Andyford MAYELE Banda. I'm sure some of you know that I'm the president of the People's Alliance for Change, PAC. I stood for president in 2016 at the age of 35, coming out number 4 in my maiden attempt, and our maiden attempt as PAC in the 2016 general elections. And 2021, the general elections are upon us again. PAC was launched on January 10th, 2016, 7 months before the 2016 elections. In 2015, around August, October, a group of like-minded individuals, we sat and discussed the future of this country. For those that were there in 2015 and that followed the politics of 2015, you will remember that there were a lot of challenges that this country was facing. And, some of the challenges that this country was facing, including the depreciation of the kwacha, which, upon taking office in 2015, President Lungu found it around 6.5, and it went to about 10 that year. We had a lot of load shedding, which increased from about, where we were having load shedding of about 8 hours every day. The cost of living were also going up, and unemployment, there was a lot of unemployment, a lot of businesses could not get support, and a whole lot of things that were happening. Now, our concern was the fact that the government did not give us a response, that any government with a vision would give the nation. This prompted us to form the PAC because we were worried that if we continued at the pace where we were, it meant that years later, the situation would worsen. And true to our fears, today, the kwacha has depreciated to about 21, and it was at about 10 in 2015. The electricity prices have gone up, the cost of living has gone up, and we felt that, Zambia needed a new platform, of politics. It needed to come up with politics that would focus more on ideas and solutions, because we knew that one of the biggest challenges that we had in our country was the way we practice our politics. Then and today, mostly, our politics are characterized by character assassination, insults, and violence. We do not have room to discuss ideas. Yes, we were young, but that did not mean that we could not, bring about positive change in this country. You must remember that there are a lot of young people out there, in history that have changed the course of history. Let's talk about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King died at the age of 38, and by the time he was dead, he had made his mark in the world. And today, we still celebrate Martin Luther King. We still read about Martin Luther King. But he just died at the age of 38. So the question that we need to be asking ourselves is, how old did he start, his, the struggle, his movement, together with other, fighters during that time in the United States. We have the likes of Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara became president of Burkina Faso at the age of 33. We have the likes of Patrice Lumumba from DRC. He became the prime minister at the age of 33, and we can give a whole lot of other examples. And this is why, at the age of 35, I did apply to stand the president at the ticket of the People's Alliance for Change. One thing we need to understand is that vision can come from anywhere. Leadership can come from anywhere. Talent can come from anywhere. It's not about age or about anything. If you have a vision, I think it is important that you put yourself, to actually offer something to your country, and that's what you have done. You must remember that the People's Alliance for Change PAC, which was formed on 10th January 2016 at Intercontinental Hotel Lusaka, has been one of the most relevant political parties in this country. There are over 60 political parties in this country, but PAC is among the top 5, political parties that has participated in a number of elections, coming out number 3 on average. Yes, a lot of people would say, why do you keep participating in elections and yet you have not won one? I think I would actually like to advise that, the elections participation has really helped, to make PAC strong, to make sure that we adequately prepare for the 2021 elections. And I think it's high time that, we as a country, we started looking elsewhere for leadership. I think it's high time that, the populace of this country gives a new generation of leaders, the mantle to lead this country. And the 2021 elections gives us an opportunity, to start afresh, to lead this country. It gives us an opportunity to give a visionary leadership, that would actually not only protect the resources of this country by fighting corruption, but by also tapping the potential of its people and of this country. That's the reason why, as the People's Alliance for Change, we have put ourselves forward, to try and, regain the lost glory of Mother Zambia, and that can only be done, by bringing about change. Now, for some people who have given up about, the prospects of this country, you must remember that there are other countries such as China, that were very poor, and they got to a point where they decided that, they needed to bring in a leadership, that would actually change, the course of that country and of its people. So the decision is up to us. The issue that we have and the challenge that we have in our politics is that we do not pay a lot of attention, to what politicians promise us, during campaigns. We are swayed, by, money. We are swayed by, gifts. We are swayed, by songs. But if we start paying attention to what politicians tell us, that is going to help us, to make sure that we put in the right leaders with a vision, leaders who know exactly what they want to offer in this country. So, in a few minutes, I'm going to invite you to actually, call in and ask me whatever questions that you feel that you have, from myself or from the party's perspective as we go towards the 2021 elections. The 2021 elections has given us an opportunity, to actually change, the way we do our politics. Our politics has affected the way governments operate. When you have politicians who have certain belief on how things should work, it means that, even their governance style is going to follow suit. You find that, when people are elected into office, they focus on, appointing or nominating their relatives, their friends, their political party loyalists into key positions of government, even when those people that they're appointing do not have the talent. We need to change that. We need to ensure that, when the president is, elected in the office of the president, they are able to appoint, people who are going to deliver on behalf of the people. They are able to appoint people who have got a great talent, people who are able to do, great things, especially in areas that we're facing challenges. As a country today, we are facing challenges in a number of areas. I'll give you a few examples. We are facing challenges in the, in finance. This country, let's talk about we're facing challenges in the economy. This country, has a lot of debt. We are indebted, and as we may have been following, news recently, we have failed to actually meet some obligations to our creditors. That's a challenge. For us to sort out that challenge, we need people, in that department, Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Zambia, and many other departments that deal with, the economy, to ensure that, we put in people of talent, not people who are just going to sing praises, for those that have appointed them. We are facing, challenges with the energy sector. We still have load shedding in a number of areas, and we still have to think about the future. Our population is growing, our economy might be growing, so we need to also have a visionary leadership that is going to ensure that, we sort out, the challenges that are being faced, in the energy sector. We have challenges in the agriculture sector. We have not tapped the potential that is there in the agriculture sector. Most farmers have not been, supported over the years. The cost of fertilizers has gone up, and most farmers, they just depend on rain-fed agriculture, and yet there are other opportunities that we can create in the agriculture sector. So these are the few examples, but if we are going to appoint people who have great talent, you find that these few areas that we're talking about can actually help this country create a lot of jobs. We also have a challenge where we have small businesses and entrepreneurs that are not supported. If you look around in this country, there's no support base, zero support base for entrepreneurs, for small businesses. They can't get support from the financial institutions, they can't get support from the government itself. There are no structures in place that would ensure that small businesses can get support. We also have a situation where, as a result of not supporting small businesses and as a result of lacking initiative to create jobs are scarce in this country. Very few young people are able to get jobs across the country. We see that when companies advertise for positions, thousands or hundreds of people apply for one position. That indicates that there is a challenge in the job market. We also have issues to do with land. Many people in this country do not own land. Most of the land is owned by the same people who are connected to the government, people who are connected to those that work in the Ministry of Land. And what happens is that the same people that own land, even when they get that land for almost for nothing, they sell it at exorbitant prices to their fellow Zambians. All those things are things that might look like there are a lot of challenges, but we can work towards changing them and ensure that we give equal opportunity to everyone. The People's Alliance for Change, PAC, as a party, is a visionary political party that wants to create a fair platform for every person to make it in this country. We want to make sure that every person who works hard and wakes up every day to try and do something has an opportunity to make it. It should not just be an opportunity for those that are going to support PAC, but it should be an opportunity for anyone, whether they support PAC or they don't. That's the reason why earlier I said talent can come from anywhere. The moment in this country we are going to sideline other talents because we believe that they support other political parties, that's when the economies are going to start falling like we are seeing today. Our country is so divided, that as a result of these divisions, we have sidelined other talents that should have actually helped this country because of suspicion of these talents belonging to other political parties. At this juncture, I would like to invite you, to call in, and the number to call is +260 76 42 50055, and the number is scrolling on your screen. I'm sure you can see the number on your screens. So I would like to invite you to have a chat with me on this Unscripted program, which is live on channel 1 of the Muvi TV decoder, and on Topstar we are live on channel 104, and also live on our Facebook page, that's Ask Muvi TV, and also on MTN Plus. Please bring your questions. As we are waiting for the questions, there are a lot of people in this country that want to actually participate in elections, in politics. Now, because our politics has been polarized, a lot of people are discouraged to get involved in our politics. And that's the reason why, they say that politics is a dirty game. Well, politics is not supposed to be a dirty game. Politics affects your life. I think we have the first caller, so let's hear what the question is. Oh, that call went. Let's wait for some more calls. Okay, there's another call. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, and may we know who is calling the Unscripted program?
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Who is on the line? Can you speak up? Sorry? Olandieni ko pamurwa. Tamla mfuka sana. Mwabakwe ati nkwisa ko Africa?
Chavuma, Northwestern Province.
Oh, Northwestern Province. Okay. Okay. Twatotera mkwai. We didn't get the name, but what he was trying to say, if bachilanda kuti chipani chesu tachafika kuchavuma, so kuti bachitashani participate abantu kuchavuma. Okay, twalampera number before tatulapwisha so that mungashita kuti mwatumina ama leaders beso aba ma provinces yapsana na ma district. Otherwise, if it was each pan to watch forming in 2016, and we're still a growing political party. Of course, we are not taking anything for granted. We know that we have reached in a number of areas, very far areas, but we are yet to reach everywhere, and we're working. And we know that by August 12, 2021, the People's Alliance for Change will be in almost all the corners of this country. And obviously, in politics, you must have a strategy. You need to know where your voters are. So as PAC, we understand where our voters are. Yes, it's a party for everyone in this country, but we also have to look at a lot of strategies to ensure that we make an impact in coming in the 2021 general elections. So what we're saying is that PAC wants to create a platform where people are free to participate in politics. We should not actually, discourage people from participating in elections, because one thing we need to know is that politics have got consequences. Elections have got consequences. Some people take politics as a game. Politics is not a game. Politics has consequences. A game between Manchester United and Arsenal ends when the results are done, ends in 90 minutes. But the difference with politics, I'll continue on that point. We have a caller. Let's pick up a call. Munishani mkwai.
Hello, Mishani Banda.
Bwino ni wanani wale tutumina?
Ni Mr. Momane Nfwe wa kumpulungu.
Atwana nishina?
Mr. Momane Nfwe kumpulungu.
Mr. Momane the what?
Kumpulungu.
Okay, kumpulungu. Kulishani kumpulungu.
Wino.
Lande ntumfwe.
Banda.
Mkwai.
Bate nu wino.
Aha.
Muleta participate my election ya leisa.
Sana fye.
Oh. Numba kuno kumpulungu takuwa uti mwelezani participate mwalona jani.
Okay, na question imbinisa.
Madam kwata posho mungabombe abantu. So vision instead ya kutati movement, why can't you support other political parties there kulu?
Aha. Nampwisha.
Na jando kuti you are supposed to give them what a vision. It's better for you to support these political parties.
Okay. Twatotera mkwai.
Banda.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Momane Nfwe.
Okay. Twatotera mkwai. I think it's the same question. Twala mpera number, then mwala landa nama leaders be so aba ku Northern Province. I think you might know that democracy is a process where not only people have the right to choose who their leaders are, but citizens also have the right to actually give alternative ideas to the people. That is what the essence of democracy, because the idea is that when people fail, when a group of people fail to manage the affairs of the country, the reason why there's a democracy is because you need to give a platform to other set of citizens to lead the country. That's the idea of democracy. As you may know, like I mentioned earlier, PAC is in a lot of areas. That's why we've participated in elections as far as Chilubi Island, the same Northern Province, Lukasha, we've been there, we've been to Pahati in Mansa. Let's pick up a call. Hello. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Banda.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you too?
I'm all right. May we know who is calling us?
Sosten Piri is my name. I'm calling from the town.
Oh, assistant in the branch. Chitawi bwin. Yeah, what assistant?
Banda, leo na mkokani kusati kuyamba kwa program akoma zinyingi vamukamba ngati muli pa TV. Upanga zero ngako.
Tayamikira.
Koma mwambo mwakoncherawo akumpurungu nauko kuzite ku northwestern ngati mulinawo vantu vanu opanamira chipani chanu mweyo ndiye kuti ntchito ogwira linu moyenerera olomwa mwamufunikira kuti mweyo mungayembekeze kuti vevo chifukwa ngati valili kuti kuti chipani kuiye osebenza lili ntchito kanya ningakambepo lomba neo nina mafunzo abiri.
Yeo.
Constitution ya Zambia yokapa kuti article 60 yokapa kuti vipani hivi hufunika kuhuta convention.
Yeo.
Kutasake malidazi kuti asite participate mu election munga yatili nayo chinotaka. Lomba question ya kuti mungati uje koseo tumukonkani kuti yano convention munga chiteli. Ya number 2 ya kuti you see the common enemy for all opposition parties in Zambia is the ruling party. Now the reason behind that is that the party is not delivering to the people's expectations, and so people are thinking that these guys should be removed so that the other leaders should take over the governance of this country. You know, with the expectation that they are going to deliver to people's expectations. Okay, so my question arising from this explanation is that is it not prudent and reasonable enough for you, Mr. Banda, who mean well according to the way you speak, to join other political parties in the opposition so that and after all you are an alliance, so why don't you join an alliance of other political parties that have come together or that are still sitting together so that you know you strengthen your voice, you strengthen the fight and all what is involved in an election so that the common enemy is defeated. Then thereafter, you can sit down and strategize how you run the country out of an alliance.
Nikumva Sosten.
So never to tell Kamina Balomano for Nabuti Kamina Muya and Tuan Comaneo, Vamukama, and Gako. And you are not just a joker, but someone who means well. People are looking for such type of leadership because I think you sound very serious even when you come into power, or maybe you may come into power, you are not going to get it and lose direction or your focus. Because the focus should really be to improve people's lives. I end here, I submit.
Ziko Masosten. You see, Sosten, I think, okay, tingakambe mchinyanja or mchizungu. But for the sake of, because this program is being, okay, let's get another call. before we answer Sosteni, there's another call coming. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, President.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from and what's your name?
My name is Machai Elijah, calling you from Chavuma, Northwestern Province.
Mateo Elijah.
Machai.
Yes.
Yeah. With my question now, I would just want to tackle a question on education.
Yes.
Yes, we know that for any change to happen in any particular society, it means the people have to be educated. Now, as we have seen in the current situation we are in, more especially the graduate teachers, according to some statistics, maybe people are saying that there are about 60,000 graduates, which some of them have even lost the hope of getting employment because maybe we can say for the past 3 to 4 years, the current government has not been recruiting teachers. If I thought they have been recruiting in an indirect way, what I find that is not known to the public. Now, according to your president, Mr. Banda, I would like you to elaborate more on maybe in the time where you ushered into office to become the Republican president of Zambia, maybe by this year. What are your policies in regards to teachers deployment or teachers because
what are the policies? Mr. Machai, just come back with your question. You were breaking a bit.
Yes, the question I'm asking the president is, what is his policy in regards to teachers deployment? Now that we have about more than 1,000 graduates. That is my question.
Okay, teachers deployment. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your presentation.
Thank you, and have a good evening, sir. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asosten, PAC was launched on January 10th, 2016. Mzaziba kuti muno mchalo cha Zambia mulima political parties yochira 60. But PAC is one of the most relevant political parties. Can we get another call, please? We'll answer, or we'll stop answering, taking calls at some point so that we answer the questions, but this time, let's get some more calls. Good evening, and good evening. Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from and what's your name?
It's Malambo calling from Kalabo.
Bamalambo?
Yes.
What do you have to?
Okay. So, Mr. Banda, I'm very happy that you are one of the youths who have come on board, and we are very interested as youths to see when our fellow youths are coming on board in terms of trying to come up with a solution in terms of leadership.
Yes.
Now, I have got a few questions on how are you going to, the plans that you have to disconnect Lusaka, because what we are seeing today, the government of the Republic of Zambia, what they are doing, have built those private bridges. Then those private bridges, we foresee that maybe after 10 years, traffic will be there in Lusaka. Now, as a leader, if you form a government, how are you going to discongest Lusaka? And how are you going to improve these other provinces? Because in most cases we have also realized that when people get in power, the people they want to see to it that they make the people of Lusaka happy because they believe that that's a place where people can get more votes. As a result, these provinces with low population, they are not considered. So, my question is, you can just answer the same one. Thank you very much, Mr. Banda. I'm happy that you are one of the youths who have come on board. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see if we can get one last call before we answer the questions, and then we'll take another set of calls later. Let's see if we can get one more call, and then we answer these questions. Okay, yeah, there's a call coming, so let's get this one. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Banda.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling us from?
No, I'm calling you from Chinsali. I'm Brian.
You're calling from where?
I'm calling you from Chinsali. I'm Brian.
I can't get you, Brian. I can get the name, but I don't. From Chinsali. Okay, Brian Chinsali. Okay, go ahead with your question, Brian. Oh, that's cut. Okay, we're not going to pick calls until we answer these ones. So let's start with Asosten. So Asosten, monga manin nenzo kambira kuti muno Mzambia tina ma political parties yochira 60. But we have to be grateful as PAC that we are one of the 5 most consistent political party by election participation. Because palibe reason you're forming a political party that seems to participate in elections, including the by-elections. We have participated in a lot of elections. Kuyambira mu general election, where I came out number 4 out of 9. We participated in, Lusaka mayor elections, where we came out number 3. And the last election we participated in Chirubi, we came out number 3 as well. So we've been growing as a party. In fact, in the last election in Chirubi, we actually managed to, beat, in a polling stations, the PF and the UPND. What does that tell you? It tells you that as a party we are growing, and we need to encourage, people like us, because we cannot always, fall under certain, umbrellas. Zambia needs to have its own direction of the future of this country, because if we're always going to say, join this alliance, when are you going to have future leaders who are courageous like us, who can stand on our own? Because these umbrellas that you always push us to, they don't give an opportunity to people like us. Zambia needs a new generation of leaders. Zambia needs leaders, that are going to, Zambia needs alternatives, The reason why we always say we want change every after 5 years is because the only thing we want is change. We don't want to understand the message. We don't want to understand the vision of political parties. Right now, from the feelings of many people, we hate the PF. And what we want, we just want change. So any other political party must stop whatever they're doing. As PAC, we should stop what we're doing and join a political party that looks like it's got the muscles to bring about change. Even if we don't understand the vision, we don't understand what they stand for. We should not encourage that. Actually, if Basosten Munga Monemtum Vererapa, you are supposed to be encouraging us and telling us, here in Petaoke, I think people have not approached us who are PAC. We want to help you so that your platform grows, because we need to grow the platforms. Now, if you have heard about us, like you have said, Mr. Sosten, that you've been following us as PAC and myself for a long time, and you think I make sense. But again, you say that I make sense. But again, you say, because we have a common enemy. Let's not focus on just bringing about change. We need to make sure that the change that is going to come to this country, whether it will come from PAC or any other political party, must be the real change, must be the real deal for the country. PAC is a growing political party. I can assure you that the reason why we are one of the few relevant political parties is because it's not easy. No one said it's going to be easy, but we are determined to make sure that, if you've never heard of us in Chavuma, we are determined to get to Chavuma. If you've never heard of us in Petaoke, which obviously you've heard of us, we are determined to get your doorstep as Sosten. So give us that opportunity, encourage us, support us. We mean well for this country. I think Zambia is in need of a leadership, that is going to focus on improving the people's lives, not just getting power or keeping power. We need to understand that there's a difference, in just wanting to have power and just keeping power. We want to make sure that Zambians have land. We want to make sure that Zambia's businesses are empowered. We want to make sure that we have a clear roadmap, which we already have in a manifesto, a clear roadmap on jobs creation in this country. So as Sosten, We are in an alliance with the people, and we are growing in our alliance with the people. We are not going to get into alliances of conveniences or marriages of conveniences. If we have to get into that alliance, then it must be an alliance that makes sense, not just for us, but for the people of Zambia. You know, most political parties that get into these alliances, they get into these alliances because they want jobs. We don't want jobs. That's the reason why we are on record. We've never applied for a job in government. We've never been fired from government. We've never applied for a contract in government. We've never been rejected a contract in government. You know, we are not looking for jobs. We are looking to get into an alliance with the people of this country so that we can improve each other's lives. Like I said earlier, if China was a poor country at some point, we believe that Zambia has the potential, you know, not just you know, to improve people's lives, but to also be the powerhouse, I mean, the economic powerhouse of South and Central Africa. And we as SPAC, we are ready, you know, to make that happen. We believe in ourselves. That's the reason why in January 10, 2016, 7 months before elections, people thought we were going to be last on the ballot. They thought that we'll come out last, but we came out number 4. We surprised many. Why? Because we have faith in what we're doing. We have the conviction that we are on the right path, and we are going to make wonders in this country, not just in elections, but also once we're elected into office, we're going to change a lot of people's lives. That's the reason why we're asking for a vote in this year's election to say, vote for change, but vote for real change. Machai, in Mr. Machai, Elijah, and Chavuma, what are we going to do about teacher recruitment? Of course, first of all, we need to understand that, you know, this country has been tainted with corruption. You know, there's so much corruption in this country. We have over 60,000 teachers, like you've mentioned, who have got no hope, you know, of actually, you know, getting a job anytime soon. Well, the ruling party is, you know, boasting, you know, that they have, you know, created, you know, they have built infrastructure across the country, and yet we still continue being bombarded. In fact, not just being bombarded, as we travel across the country to go to campaign, whether it is Kasenengwa, or it is, you know, in Chiluvi Island, or it is in Bahati, or in Sesheke, we see that there's true need, you know, for a lot of schools to be built, because a lot of children do not have opportunities to have schools, you know, that are conducive, that have got conducive environment, you know. But how are we going to achieve that? One of the ways that we're going to achieve that is that if we're going to fight corruption and channel the money that is being stolen by a few people and channel it to the right, you know, sectors such as the education sector, that's one of the things that we're going to do. The other way we're going to do that is to ensure that, you know, we empower you, the teachers out there, to create your own schools in what we call the joint citizen company. You can actually, one of our initiatives we have that will kick in immediately, you know, we form government, is to ensure that teachers are empowered, you know, to have schools, you know, to build schools, you know, to give alternatives, you know, to government's, you know, building of schools. That is important. You know, you have the vision, you are the teachers, you can have, you know, teachers' businesses, you know, you can actually, you know, I mean, run businesses that have to do with education sector. You know, in that way, we are going to decongest, because we cannot allow a situation where the government alone is providing solutions, but we have to provide a platform for the citizens to actually, you know, also create solutions. We need to support the citizens to create solutions for this country. So those are some of the things, but we know that corruption has, you know, brought us to where we are today, where we are not able, you know, to do a lot of things that we're supposed to do. Look at the health sector. Look at how messed up it is. Every day we are bombarded, you know, by the news of, you know, expired drugs, and yet people who were tasked to, you know, supply these drugs, they look surprised to say, no, we didn't know that these drugs expired, and yet we know that this is just a scheme, you know, where they have made schemes with manufacturers, pharmaceuticals, you know, in India, you know, to be getting expired drugs at a very cheap price so that they can pocket a lot of money. And yet when people, you know, go into hospitals, they don't find any drugs because of a few selfish and greedy individuals. That has to change. This country has got so much potential. This country can do better. And we as PAC, we promise you that we are going to do better. we are going to improve people's lives. We'll make sure that you have drugs in the hospitals. We'll make sure that as many schools as possible are built so that as many teachers as possible are recruited in this country. A lot of money, I can assure you, a lot of money has been stolen by a few greedy people. Money which could have helped this country a whole lot, including in the education sector. Bamalambo, how do we decongest Lusaka? Yes, I agree with you. Lusaka needs decongesting. But those flyover bridges that are putting us deep into debt are not a solution to decongest Lusaka. Those are temporal bridges that are meant for elections, so that, when the people of Lusaka are passing on those bridges, they should say, Sonteni, Epowa Bomba. And yet, we know that these are short-term, they are not going to help us to decongest Lusaka. There are a lot of programs that we need to do to make sure, there are a lot of policies that can help us decongest Lusaka. It's not just, the idea of, putting double lanes of tarmacs. That's not what is going to decongest Lusaka. We need to create policies, to attract investors, to invest in other places outside, this country. What would attract an investor to invest in Kapirimposhi, or to invest in Chinsali, or to invest, in Wapula, or to invest in Mongu, or to invest in, in Gwembe? So those are some of the policies that we need to come up with, so that, investors can actually start creating opportunities outside the capital city. That's one of them that we are going to do. These policies will look at the opportunities in various provinces. We have not encouraged people, to go and set up shop in those provinces. The government has got zero initiatives, to sit with investors and see how they can actually, build manufacturing industries, in other provinces. We have rice in Mongo. We need to empower a lot of farmers, to venture into rice farming, and other, farming activities that can happen in many parts of, Western Province. We have other opportunities of tourism in places like Wapula. We need to make sure that we encourage as many investors to go there, because that is a sitting, a sleeping giant of tourism in Wapula and other parts of the country. So we need a government, that is going to come up with policies that would create opportunities outside this country. Now, one of the policies that we're going to come up with is we want to take advantage of our geographical location. Zambia is surrounded by 8 countries, which has got a population of over 200 million people. Now, what we need to do is that we have to invite investors, both local and international, to venture into investments that are going to have markets in these 8 countries. Now, when we invite those investors, because what the idea is to give these companies incentives to make sure that their focus is on producing products that are for export. So when they are producing products that are for export, they don't need to set up shop in Osaka. They don't need to set up manufacturing industries, in Osaka, because their focus is for export. So they can set up these, manufacturing industries in various parts of the country. And that is what we're going to do, because those investors, those companies are going to get a lot of incentives from the park government, and our encouragement is for them to set up shop outside Lusaka. That is going to create opportunities for a lot of people to go and work outside Lusaka, and in the long run, that is going to decongest Lusaka. So the idea that Lusaka is the only place that can actually provide solutions is wrong. We have places like South Africa. People move from Pretoria to go and work in Johannesburg. People move from different places. Actually, if you've been to South Africa, most of the time you won't sleep near the airport, because just the distance between the airport and Sandton is about 40 kilometers, which is almost the same distance between Lusaka and Kafiwe. But for us, we need to change the mentality and not be looking at the 40-kilometer stretch as a long distance. But of course, a lot of things have to happen. We need to make sure that people can afford to buy fuel, to move from one distance to the next. we need to make sure that the roads are conducive for them to stay in these areas. So you need a government that has got a whole picture of how to achieve everything in this country. And that government can only come from people with diverse ideas, people with solutions, for this country. And that is what we, as the park government, are going to do. So if there are any calls, you can still call us. I think I've answered Malambo in Kalabo, Machai Elijah, Sosten Piri. I've answered all your questions, and other calls are now welcome. So we have given you, in answering some of these questions, as we wait for the calls, we have given you a glimpse of what the park government is going to do. The park government stands for land, jobs, and empowerment. And we are determined to make sure that we give a platform to each and every Zambian to own land. We are determined to make sure that we give each and every Zambian to have an opportunity to have a job. We are giving you, we want to give a platform to give each and every Zambian who runs a business to have an opportunity to be empowered. The idea of empowering political loyalists, the idea of empowering political party cadres, the idea of letting scot-free political party cadres, to run key government institutions, such as, the city council. You might think that the city council is not run by cadres. It is run by cadres indirectly. That is not going to be a thing of the past under the park government. Even when we ran for Lusaka mayor, we gave you a clear plan on what park would do at Lusaka City Council and clean buses, bus stations and markets of political party cadres that are denying, a revenue, to the Lusaka City Council, to the local government. In the end, a few individuals are pocketing money that is supposed to go to the local government for the local government to be able to deliver services, to many residents of various cities. That has been tolerated because of the politics, because we believe that a few cadres are so important for this country. Let's take a call. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Who is on the line?
The president. My name is Joseph Banda, calling you from Mansa.
Okay, Joseph Banda from Mansa.
President.
Yeah.
My question is, I wanted to find out how you intend to solve the problem of debt in Zambia.
Debt. Okay. Do you have any more? I think we're almost getting to the end of the program. So if you want to call, this is your chance to call. We just have a few minutes before the end of the program. Okay. So our brother Joseph Banda from Mansa is asking how the park government is going to deal with the issue of debt. To start with, Joseph, I think I'll try to explain this in English, the issue of debt. I wish I could explain, but nzakamba kwa mchinyanja na mchizungu. I think the 2021 elections are quite critical even in the country's debt. My elections am 2021 yali maningi important tikabwera mukani ya Nkongole yamene zili nazo yaneli nayo ino chalo. Ndaba kuti I think bantu wanaona pasa Nkongole Zambia, they want a new government. Not that they have said so, but we believe that bazankala kona confidence mu new government na ma policies yamene new government izaleta. Ndaba ngati ufuna kushita manage Nkongole ngati wa Kongola maningi drama umafunga wafika pa point yakuti you try and restructure your debt kuti unkaleko na breathing space. So one of the things that the park government is going to do is to ensure that we negotiate for a debt restructuring, with the creditors. Na bantu wanaona tipasa Nkongole kuti ngati banatuza kuti uno mwaka tifunga kulipira $1 million. Tezaba waza kuti tivere nkonchi fundo lekani $1 million tilipire mu mayezi yasona so that instead yakuba tikazilipira $1 million per month per year, maybe tikazilipira ko $200,000 so that zijandrama zitango zati tufunga olipira zabwirako mu economy tapfakako mu initiatives ane tili nayo kushita produce vindu vosiyana-siyana tikabwa tafakako ijandrama yene tunzufunga kulipira kuli baja bantu tafakako mu agriculture sector tashita support ma farmers so that bashita produce vindu vosiyana-siyana tagulisa mu vero vosiyana-siyana izapezeka kuti tizakankarana tizamboshita tizakapanga ndrama zambiri then tikapanga ndrama zambiri tizambofaka mu treasury tikafaka mu treasury tenda tilipira ko nkongole pang'ono but as it stands under the current government, there's no initiative whatsoever as to what the plan is to pay the debt. I mean, what investments have we put the money in so that it can generate revenue for us to be able to use that revenue to pay the debt. So the new government must make sure that, it comes up to initiatives that are going to make sure that the government is generating a lot of money, for us to be able to pay the debt. The other issue that we need to do at Josphat, we need to fight corruption. Ndaba ndrama zambiri zamene tina kongola zija zinaenda chemu mantumba y'abantu chifukwa chakuti ma road yamene kuti they cost so much, they end up costing more than what they should. So meaning that kajeka ndrama kanwa mafakira pamwamba kama enda ma pocket y'abantu tikaona ma road banewa kamba kuti no tinapanga ma road but tifunga kuziwa kuti mamene muja mkupanga ma road muli bwanji muli corruption bantu wenango banadia, and that's a fact and no one can dispute it. And that is what has happened. And we've lost so much money, as a result of these infrastructure projects. Instead of them helping this country, they have gone to make a few greedy, selfish people very rich within a short space of time. So now, we need to make sure that we put in people in government that are going to protect the resources of this country. We need to make sure that we put people in government that are going to help us to make sure that, we reduce the cost of running government so that these monies that we are going to be saving can go towards debt payment. They can go towards, other investments. We can make sure that we've got medicines in hospitals. But we need to have a leadership that has got that vision, a leadership that loves this country and the people of Zambia. Let's get one call before we go. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yo.
Hello, Mr. Banda. Mr. Malambo is back.
Yes, Malambo.
Yes. So my last question, Mr. Banda, I just want to find out as part what are you going to do in terms of the hospitals?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Malambo.
In terms of the hospitals, because of late we have realized that most of the serious illnesses, most of the people, they are being ferried from all the provinces to Lusaka, and UTH is now congested. Everyone has to move to UTH to get that medical assistance. Now, what are you going to do to discongest UTH so that the people in these other regions can go within their region and access good medical facilities? Thank you, Mr. Banda.
Thank you. Okay, that should have been our last call. Thank you very much to everyone who called. That was our last call for the night. Oh, we still have about 7 minutes, so we can take a few more calls. We still have 7 minutes, we can take a few more calls. So I hope at Josphat, Nkania Olipira and Kongole, and also apart from, restructuring the debt and fighting corruption in government, we need to make sure that, we invest in other areas, such as in the agriculture sector, the manufacturing sector. We, like I've mentioned at Josphat, let's get another call as we still have a few minutes. Mr. Malambo called. Let's get this one. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Evening. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm Brian Msawa again.
From Chinsali?
Yes, in Chinsali, yes.
Okay, Brian, but we missed you. Please give us your contribution. Yes, Mr. Brian.
Mr. Banda, I just want to find out what are your views to the vulnerable and aged people in the country?
To the vulnerable and aged people?
Yes, within the
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.
Yeah, so on the issue of Nkongole Josephat, so we need to invest in other areas, so that we can generate more revenue. We need to empower small businesses, and we need to protect certain sectors of the economy for the Zambian people. We cannot allow a situation where foreigners come here in this country and they start making blocks. They get that money and take it to their countries. What is so difficult about Zambia is making blocks. We want to keep the money here. We want to make sure that the profits that are made, Zambians are able to actually invest in this country, and they are able to boost the buying power of the economy. So there's nothing wrong. It's not xenophobic. Let's get another call. I think probably the last one. Hello. On the your name and where you calling from? Hello.
Hello, this is Clarissa from Lusaka.
Who is that?
Clarissa from Lusaka.
Teresa.
Clarissa.
Oh, Clarissa. Your contribution, madam.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We would like to know what should make people vote for PAC instead of UPND, let's say. What incentive do the people have?
Okay.
Because we're tired of empty promises all the time from these politicians.
Yeah. Thank you, Clarissa.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, madam. Should like to know why people should vote for PAC. We're not going to compare ourselves with any political party. Okay, so I think the issue of debt, in conclusion, Josephat, it can take the whole program. So, tizape mpako wa Muvi TV kutoka pasako 1 hour. Tikagambe chepari nkani yang Kongore. Now, the other issue is talking about the vulnerable and aged. What is our plan? I think we need to create a platform, where we support the vulnerable in society. We need to make sure that, we have policies that advantage them in society. But in a nutshell, when we create opportunities for a lot of people, if I've got an old parent indirectly, and my economic status has improved, indirectly I'm going to support, my old parent. So one of the problems why we see a lot of vulnerable people, a lot of street kids, it's because of the economic status of various individuals. You find that maybe parents don't have jobs, they're not able to take care of their children, and their children end up in streets. So that is a situation that we need to change as a country. We need to make sure that once we improve as many people's lives as possible, even the issue of street kids is going to indirectly reduce. I was given an example today. We had a meeting at a secretariat, and I was given an example to our members from Matero who came today. And I said, before 1990, we used to have transport problems in this country. And for some of us who grew up in the compounds, I grew up in Mtendere, you would find that there was a lot of crime in those areas because a lot of young people did not have jobs. But with the change of government, and that's the reason we say elections have got consequences, there was a change of government, and what happened was that things changed, and crime reduced because there were buses that came. So those young people that used to involve themselves in crime, they ended up getting jobs driving buses. So once we create policies that are going to empower a lot of people, indirectly, a lot of challenges that this country is facing is going to go. My time is up, but Malambo, I won't answer your questions because you asked me already. But before I go quickly, I'll ask the producer to give me just 60 seconds to answer Clarissa. Clarissa, I would have loved to give you, a much more detailed answer, but because you called at the last minute, unfortunately. So what would make you vote for PAC other than any other political party? I want to give you a challenge, Clarissa, and a whole lot of people that are watching this program. The challenge that I'm going to give you is that pay attention. Pay attention to what each and every political party is saying. And when you pay attention, you start noticing, the differences, between various political parties. You will notice that most political parties do not actually have a clear manifesto. But we just go na chimwera to because we rush and start voting for them. So the issue is that when we pay attention to exactly what each and every political party is going to do, you are going to see the difference, and you find that PAC has the best manifesto. We have the best manifesto. I would like to encourage you to actually follow us on various programs, even on Muvi TV. I'm sure we're still coming back, and listen to our manifesto, and you find that you will know that we have the best manifesto, we have the best vision for this country. Thank you so much to the Unscripted production team, to the callers that called in, to the viewers that were watching, to the PAC team, and everyone. Thank you so much. May God bless you. May God bless the Republic of Zambia. Good evening.